Got Autobots coming through with that Coach PK player. Saw them very, very early on in this tournament. Very, very great player. Been around for a long time. Personal friend of mine, and really a player that can kind of flex. We talked about Kyrie a little bit being that flex player, but Coach is very much a player that can jump onto anything and really perform well. I'm interested to see what he's going to come through in these final rounds coming up. But we are going to get back into the final round of our winners bracket to see who's going to be the winner out of the winners bracket. I see what I did there. And it's going to be one to Super Team, one to Gecko's Wet Thigh. And this is going to be a really, really close one. We saw that first round go out to Gecko's Wet Thigh. Really, really great game coming out from Thunder Thigh, the student of Kyrie Caitlin. And a little bit of inside information, I think, may have came into play there big time and really kind of countered the coach. However, came back into the second round. Kyrie Caitlin shifting gears, went over into Stone Shaper, and the team just came together really, really well. Very, very like on point comms. They didn't say anything that didn't need to be said, and they came through and took the second round. We're about to go in for this third and final round of our winners bracket, and I'm not sure who's going to come out on top. The student or the teacher, they've all had a chance to breathe, have a chance to reset. Is that going to be beneficial or detrimental to their hype that they had built up? What are you thinking, LD?
Ooh, see, to begin with, obviously I said about Super Team. I think Super Team are the way to go. Obviously, we had the Himwood game. It went to Gecko's Wet Thigh. It was still really, really close, and then we saw Kyrie make the switch to Stone. And as we said last round, it was a really, really good switch. She played it really, really well, and they managed to catch the win this time. So I think if they use that same tactic, dependent on the map, because what else have we got left to see? Either Banehelm, Dustpool, or Bogmore. Obviously, we've seen Bogmore a couple of times. Actually, we've seen all of the maps a couple of times at least, I think.
Have we had a Banehelm game?
We haven't had a Banehelm. We haven't had a Banehelm map yet.
I'd love to see a Banehelm game. As you know, Banehelm holds a close spot in my heart.
Yes,
you think it's maybe a slightly too big for a TDM situation?
Yeah,
it's definitely our biggest map.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking there. That there's a lot of potential for 1v1s there, and I don't think, although what I said at the beginning, how I think maybe certain teams will push for 1v1s, I don't think that mentality is going in at all. I think everyone is playing to win. They're playing smart. They've got strategies and plans. So yeah, I think Banehelm, that's a good point, might be just completely out of the ring due to just its sheer size and the amount of spots that you can drop through and exile yourself in Banehelm. There's a lot of them risky fighting spots that you don't find so much in other maps.
100%, absolutely, 100%. It's a shame. I absolutely adore Banehelm as a drop location, and the map it's just they did a really good job when they designed that. Honestly, big kudos to the art team on that one.
I love that map. Very gorgeous. One of our only snow areas in the whole entire map. So if you're wearing an outfit that has a lot of white, maybe you get a little bit of an advantage there. But honestly, I think I do want to touch on Banehelm a little bit. It's very interesting that we didn't see this map choice pretty much at all throughout the tournament, at least not on the matches that were on the main screen. And I think it's partly because of the large map, like we said, but I'm very surprised that we don't see any teams kind of playing into that. There are definitely some classes, some gauntlets that could really take advantage of that distance. I mean, you think about conduit users, you think about Frostlance users, even sometimes Stone Shapers. They really benefit from that, keeping your opponent at arm's length, kiting them around, and punishing them with damage little by little until you get the exile. And I think there's lots of room in Banehelm for that exact play style. Conduit and Frostborn class, I think, would really, really pop off in that kind of situation. But we haven't seen it yet. And I'm still wondering why. Maybe we'll see something coming through here. But I think the first two choices in this particular winners round was Halcyon, and then the previous one was Himwood, right? So
yes, yeah.
I'm going to say that I am probably going to expect Bogmore, but it could be any map. What do you guys, what's your thoughts on this, Sloth?
Honestly, in thinking about it, I know we've already kind of thrown Banehelm out of the window, but if you really think about it, that map is perfect for pretty much all classes because there's a lot of elevation differences. So Tempests have their way out, and Conduits and Frostborns have their high ground, but there's also a lot of open ground there for Conduits to make good use of, for Stone Shapers to make great use of. And I don't know whether they might throw us both off, throw us all off, and think, oh, you know what? Maybe one of them has thought about that and has realized that it would suit their team layout perfectly because there's not one class at a disadvantage. But I think we're pretty much on the nail where it's just too big for it and it would split into 1v1s. I probably would say Bogmore is most likely.
Agree. And I think that we have seen so much evidence that competitive Spellbreak is played so much out of the game. There is so much in preparation, so many things in terms of setting up strategy, setting up team compositions, even your choice of arena is a big factor in winning or losing. And that is just what we were hoping to see. We were hoping to show you all in the chat exactly what competitive Spellbreak is, because I've been talking about it all night. I know we got some new viewers coming in, and welcome into the chat, you guys. My name's Timmy. This is SGC, and we're having a lot of good times. But yeah, we definitely see a lot of opportunities for players to come in and show us that the play outside of the arena, outside of the HoloLands for competitive play is what makes or breaks your team and wins or loses rounds. And that's why you all need to join up in the Discord. Yeah, that's right. Exclamation point SGC. Get into that Discord. Exclamation point SGC will give you a link into the Discord provided by Eldigo. Look at that, the multitasker. Click on that link and get in there. Get involved in all of our tournaments coming up soon. This one's going to be sponsored by MetaFi, but it's time to jump on in. Sloth, are you ready for this, baby?
I'm so ready for this, dude. I've coffeed up. I've eaten. I'm just on the edge of my seat to see who is going to take this match. It's all to play for. We're still in the Master versus Apprentice kind of battle here. Both have scored 1. We've also got obviously the UMG champion with Fish and Kyrie being ranked 1 in Chapter 2. There's a lot on the line. Not even just like financial, monetarily, value wise. There's a lot pride wise on the line for these, because they're all top tier champions to some degree, no matter what, whether it's through ranked leaderboards or whether it's through actual tournaments and competitions. They've all got their pride on the line as much as they have fun and as much as they have the prize at the end of it. So whether that will hinder them and add too much pressure, or whether that will invigorate them to play at their best, I can't wait to find out.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be interesting to watch this game play out. But I think, guys, we've all been absolutely bamboozled by the map choice. We are on Dustpool.
Yeah.
I mean, Dustpool is a personal favorite of mine. I know many people don't agree with me. I like fighting on Dustpool. Again, when me and Soft competed in another tournament, we did really well on Dustpool against an NA West team. So, and again, I think this has this jack of all trades kind of outlook where you've got the different elevations, you've got the big outside area for your stone shapers and conduits to fight. You've got your towers, the inside of the tower, the top of the tower. There's lots and lots of different places, and I think it looks pretty.
Oh yeah, and I'm saying Stone Shaper for sure. It's not surprising that you like this map, Dustpool Eldigo, especially for the Stone Shaper. But yeah, there's definitely an area on this map that I find a lot of competitive players or a lot of skilled players like to kind of bring the fight out to, and that's kind of open out into the open field where a lot of those bots are. And it's definitely going to be a class type of thing. If you have the Stone Shaper, you're definitely going to want to fight out there where you kind of have a little bit of an advantage. But the other thing is, as much as you have the advantage in that area, you still have to bring the players out to fight you. So you definitely have to be creative with how to stay alive, how to try to antagonize or at least get the players wanting to come out into your area and fight you, where basically it's your preferred zone. And there's definitely going to be a lot of, are we going to see these teams bring it out to that area, or is there going to be a lot of inside where all these small little structures are, where people can peek around corners or toxicologists can come out of nowhere and slap you? Right now, I think it's still up in the air. We see a lot of combat going on around these scrolls, and I think we're still in the phase where these players are trying to get those scrolls upgraded, trying to get that loot from the Val Guards. A lot of babysitting where these players are holding hands. They got the buddy system going on, and they're making sure that they're not alone while getting this loot. And I think it's super important because in a lobby and a map like Dustpool, you can very, very easily get jumped in on and overtaken by multiple enemies before you know it, because there's just a lot of like structures and landscape that kind of just hide the approach of your enemy if you're not on your toes. Let's see what happens.
It's funny that you mentioned, obviously, they're fighting over the scrolls a lot here, because obviously we saw in Delicious Wet Fishes or Gecko's Wet Thighs last game against Dumb Ways to Die. Every single matchup for them, they kind of had this unspoken agreement where neither team engaged until they both kind of were at an adequate loot level. And that's just gone completely out the window for this game. Whether it's a case of they just don't need it, or whether it's a case of they're just so in the zone that they just want to get this match out the way and onto the next one. I don't know, but it's interesting to see how the two teams, Dumb Ways to Die and Super Team, sorry, don't have obviously changed the differences between the two, where one will allow the teams to loot up and be prepared for maybe a fairer fight, if you want to put it that way, and then the other team is just taking full advantage of an underlooted opponent.
Absolutely. And I think Dust Pool's definitely taken a big role in that decision. There's definitely a lot more opportunities, in my opinion, when it comes to looting these Valguards, where you can kind of spot an enemy out and jump in on it. And definitely a really, really great point. Definitely two different types of mentalities going in and approaches for the beginning of this game, but both of them seem to be working out so far, as we do finally see Gecko's Wet Thigh take the lead just a little bit by 1 point. So far it's just been tons and tons of just trying to get those scrolls, trying to get this last little bit of farm going on. We are in the early start of part of this match, so it's going to be a lot of that, but also some really, really nice decisions as we see multiple players from this squad able to recall right there before the fireballs land. And that is something that we have to really kind of hammer on, you guys. If you're playing in a competitive match, a Spellbreak, TDMs, or even Dominion, there is to recall before you die is a game changer. And being able to escape, find that 5 seconds of sanctuary, recall, get back up into the shop and be able to get your upgrade, come back down without giving your opponents an exile, and then able to join the fight when it might be already going on with full health is game changing. And we see that coming through over and over. Delicious Wet Fish, one of the best players at doing just that, just knows exactly what he can get away with in terms of survivability, and knows exactly when it's time to call for the bill and get out the door. And that's what we see happening a lot here.
100%. And I like the fact that you mentioned that obviously the recalling can be so instrumental, because Arctic in the last game was using it very wisely. Up until this point, we've seen pretty much every player just save their 3 boons and not recall until they've had their 3 full ones to make most use of it. Great play, fair enough. Honestly, one of the best things you can do with your boons. However, Arctic went against that and used his strategically to either get out of a sticky situation and completely re-heal without having the heals themselves, or I noticed him use it a couple of times to just completely reposition himself. He'd be able to break away from a fight, he'd hide a little bit to get that recall back, and then he'd recall and he'd land the other side of where he was, and then he'd really be able to readjust and reevaluate exactly how he wanted to go and continue that fight, or whether he wanted to go and support a teammate.
Yeah, that's it. Boons are such an integral part of this style of gameplay. It's different from BR. We have TDMs and Dominion within the game mode Dominion, whereas BR has its own set of rules. So the boons are so integral and can play such a big part. Like Sloth said, saving all 3 boons up for your recall, smart play. You've got a massive upgrade there, and you've been farming your Valguard, you've not died. Happy days, very good play. But at the same time, if you can get them slight upgrades out, each armor boon, if I'm not mistaken, is worth 20 armor. So you're able to take another half a shot. If you can get 2 of them out within the same time it would take you to save up 3, then you're still kind of in a better position in a fight if you're getting pushed straight away. And again, like Timmy said, the ability to drop in on a fight full health with a teammate, allow them to back out and you take a bit more of the brunt of the damage, they get the recall. You can even get a mad swap in and out of players where you're just able to take down the enemies because you've got your respawn timers on tap.
And beautiful, beautiful help coming there on the screen, you guys, as Kyrie Caitlin comes in to take out Wetfish and take the lead over onto the super team squad side. Wetfish really doing a great job. It was actually Wetfish that had caught an enemy out alone, and it looks like there was a 2v1 situation. Wetfish was really coming through, putting out a lot of damage, but as soon as Wetfish started to attack that enemy, their teammate came through by the name of Kyrie Caitlin and punished him big time, able to come through and get that exile, put them back up into the shop and bring themselves a little bit of a lead. And I think it's really important that we talk about the recall. Not only do you get these upgrades, and we've talked about several times how much of a race it is in these matches early on, especially to get your item upgrades, to get your talents and stuff, but there's a specific tactical advantage. I think Sloth really touched on it a little bit there. And if you recall, if somebody's chasing you, or you're in the middle of a fight, you get down to half health, and you find a few seconds to recall, and you get it off while the player is trying to get to you, they are then most likely overextended into the territory they probably don't want to be. They are most likely already damaged from the confrontation that you and they had, and you can very easily tell your teammates, hey, I recalled. They may think I'm still here. They may still be trying to find me. They may be trying to retreat because I baited them way into our territory, and then I recalled and left them here for you all to clean up. And so, like, this competitive spell break shines a light on how much depth there really is offered in this game that you just do not get to see in other modes, in other events. It's just one of the reasons why you should be part of SGC if you haven't already, and make sure that you keep it up with these events, because it will show you the highest level of spell break and show you things that you may have never thought before. But wait a second, as I was on this rant, 65-61, whoa, what just happened, y'all?
Oh, I don't even know, man. Fish's team has just pulled it back.
One thing that I did notice with Delicious Wetfish's team, and well, with Delicious Wetfish specifically, that chat did also notice, is that the RNG, he managed to find 2 knowledge pots. Yes. You can see one's in his inventory.
This is his second game of that happening as well. He's had a second game tonight where this has happened. He's had 2 knowledge pots to just store away and use when he needs. Because the beauty of, obviously, Dominion is you don't drop your potions when you die like BR. So you can literally save it until you really need to use it.
Exactly. And I've seen Delicious Wetfish as well using a lot of the ping system, which I've not actually seen that many players doing during them early rounds, is pinging items
and another
for their
one.
Teammates. Oh my gosh, the knowledge, the brains this man possesses. Getting the recall off just at the right time.
Oh, didn't quite make it.
Wow.
Oh, he did.
Wow. Yeah, he got it.
He died there. Oh, damn.
He got it. Nah, you could see the fireball hitting down to about 3 HP, but it already got the recall off before it actually connected. Huge.
And that just highlights exactly what we were saying earlier. Like, if you can get one of those clutch respawns off, then you've got so much more potential. You've got your full health back, and you can remaneuver to exactly where you knew they were chasing you.
Yeah, exactly. Some big plays coming from Wetfish, and honestly, this entire team pulling together some incredible synergy. Delicious Wetfish, just nerves of steel, very good decision making, very patient, been able to get these recalls off, being able to get these resets off, getting those potions and charge back on. Big exile coming through from Kyrie Caitlin. Looks like a snipe or a frost lance, does connect and follows up by a nice big, I think this is a wind spam or maybe a shockwave. Is Kyrie Caitlin back on the stone shaper again, you all?
Yes, Kyrie is back on the stone. Ooh. I did see a big boulder hit and then a shockwave to finish. So that was a nice combination coming in from Kyrie. That's another great thing about Stone Shaper on Dustpool. Another reason why I like it so much is Dustpool's quite forgiving with the shockwave pathing down things. Shockwave can be a bit unpredictable when it comes to its pathing. A little rock can stop it in its path, or you can go down a 90-degree angle. You never know, but Dustpool, I've learned with a lot of it that it's very forgiving in that regard. So I think Kyrie using Stone Shaper again can really shine, utilizing those points where the shockwave will go downstairs or go down a little cliff where someone thinks they're kind of safe. They've seen her use her boulder and, they think they're safe from the shockwave, but pow, the ground comes crashing over, 38 damage.
Yeah, Fish just doing another amazingly played recall. And I like how you said earlier on that the nerves of steel coming into this, Timmy, because watching Fish here, he is so focused and nothing shakes him. He had a little bit of rage earlier on where he obviously knew he misplayed something, but the whole time he is cool, calm, collected, constantly assessing and analyzing what the situation he's in and adjusting to it. And I am blown away by just how unfazed by things he is, because I mean, I've been playing since launch and I will still get flustered in the wrong fight.
Oh yeah, that's what it takes. That's what it takes. Spellbreak is not a game where all the projectiles are hidden because they're bullets and they're going so fast. And it's not a game where everything is so direct that you can just easily hide behind a structure and be safe. You have to be able to make those plays happen. You got to find an answer whenever a problem arises, and you have to have those nerves of steel to be able to make those right decisions when there is literally green flames, red flames, a tornado, a lightning storm, earthquake, like all of this going around you. And you have to be able to assess the situation and make the best decision, because at this point in SGC, when you're at competitive Spellbreak at this level, if you don't make the right decision, you lose the game. And we see that happen over and over again. Right now, Wetfish is making the right decisions, though. 95 to 89. The pressure is on a little bit, but we see Wetfish coming back and putting out the pressure himself. That's going to be a double-double as Newbie and Kyrie Caitlin is picked up by our conduit. He's conduing it right in front of our faces there, right next to his teammates. It's going to be a nice bit of organization between these teammates. Honestly, it's a 3v1 situation. This last remaining player on the enemy team is running for their life, retreats out into the open field to try to find a little bit of comfort, a little bit of safekeeping, but it's going to be really dangerous. But they actually find a way to pull off an exile onto Delicious Wetfish, as he does get a little bit overextended, a little bit over aggressive. I think he made the right decision there, but in the end, Arctic comes through and punishes him a bit for it.
Also worth noting in that last engagement, Fish had swapped to a Frost Gauntlet offhand, now changing back to his Fire Gauntlet. So maybe he was a misclick, a mispickup, or maybe there was just the shop just wasn't performing for him. But there we go. There we go. The apprentice has overtaken the master.
Oh,
we have it there. We have
what
it there.
a fight, guys!
Man,
also to put on top. Oh, sorry.
We knew we were going into this. We knew this round was going to be insane. We saw Kyrie come back in that second round, really, really rallied the troops and changed over to the Stone Shaper and was able to secure that second round victory. I saw that she was a little bit upset because the adrenaline was pumping. They were super excited. It came off that second win. Up here. And then we had our 30-minute break, and that kind of brought it down a little bit, which sometimes can be a good thing. Sometimes it can be a bad thing. Either way, you have to take all the things that happen and come out the best that you can. I think they put up a good show. They put up a good fight. But in the end, it will be Gecko's Wet Thigh that takes the winner's bracket victory pretty well, too. I think, what did they end up with? 4 points, 4 or 5 points?
103 to 97.
Cool.
Which quite a little lead there. But we do also have the results for Autobots versus Dumb Ways to Die, and Dumb Ways to Die came out on top.
Unfortunately, we're not quite done with Super Team yet. Then that means we're going to go over. We're going to see how Super Team and Dumb Ways to Die do in the losers final, and one of them is going to be coming back for the grand final. So for one of these two teams, the loss wasn't the end.
Yeah, It might not be over. They will. Yes. Okay. This is exciting. Very, very exciting. Super Team's going to be jumping down to the loser bracket. And like Sloth says, it looks like Dumb Ways to Die will still be in the game, going to be coming through and doing their best to secure this victory and have a chance to go into our grand finals to compete for that prize money. But if you guys don't know, that's right. I said it. Prize money. We have a sponsor. We actually have two sponsors going on in this tournament. And this is our first ever SGC tournament, you guys. If you're not already in the Discord, !SGC. We'll give you a link to that Discord, so get in there and get involved with all of our stuff coming up. But a big shout out to Sector X for coming through with the sponsorship, or sponsoring the stream by allowing us to use their facility to put on the whole show. Rogue Yoshi coming through and doing all the behind the scenes stuff and making sure that everything looks real nice and smooth for y'all. And of course, Medify coming through with that big sponsorship and providing us with that prize money. Can you break down what these players might end up winning? Sloth, what do you think? What's going on?
I honestly, I'm still mind blown by the action that we've seen so far. Honestly, I'm still trying to wrap my head around it all. I do know that we've got a $500 prize pool that they're all fighting out for at the moment. I can't at the moment remember how that's split, but I'm trying to find it. So do bear with me on that one. But I know that the top team is going to be getting a $100 code pack each that they can choose from, either the exclusive Crackshot pack from Chapter 3 or the Elemental Priestess that was discontinued after Chapter 2. So neither of which are available anymore, which I think just adds to the value of that pack, really. It's $100 at first, but now it's got to be worth at least, what, 150?
Oh, yeah. Definitely. The exclusiveness is important.
There are some nice outfits I can attest, especially the Crackshot. That's a very, very nice one. I know a lot of the community members enjoyed that one.
Yeah, because not only does that come with the exclusive skins, of course, but obviously you get the 13,500 gold in that, which, if the 2 exclusive skins weren't enough, you could buy yourself the whole shop for 2 days.
That's right. Yeah. Looking real good while you exile people from the HoloLands.
Oh, yeah. I've just found the thing. So obviously, first place is going to be sharing $300 between them all. A nice $100 bonus for each player there for their well-earned victory, whoever that may be. Second place will also be getting the 3 Crackshot / Elemental Priestess packs, and or they'll be getting $150 to split between them. So a nice $50 take home each for that one. And third will be getting $50 to split between them, and the gold packs. So they will get a code for just a nice little boost to the coffers on Spellbreak of 1,000 gold there, which will still treat themselves to a nice little skin or a couple of emotes, or I don't know, maybe a nice little afterglow.
Love to see it. There's always some nice stuff in the shop. But yeah, again, huge shout out to Meta5 for the sponsor. Super cool stuff to see. And thank you for everyone for being here. But I'm excited to get into the next game. I know we're just waiting on a couple of players and we should be all good to go. But we've got an interesting matchup because Timmy, I know something that you personally wanted to see is we're going to see Mardy against Kyrie here. And if Kyrie continues on the stone, we're going to see some Tempest versus Stone action. Some Airbender versus Earthbender action, some Masters at work. So I'm very excited for that, and I know you were looking forward to that as well.
Yeah, I'm excited about it. I'm not sure if we're going to see it. I don't know if Kyrie's going to come back with a Stone Shaper. I think the win from the second round really got her hyped, got her excited. The momentum was there. Their adrenaline was pumping, and she felt really good about Stone. Coming back into the third round, trying Stone again, and them falling a little bit short from the victory might cause her to change it up a bit. I'm not sure exactly if we will get to see that matchup. I would love to see it for sure, especially if Marty's going to come back in and put on a show that he put on for us last time. I'm just excited to watch Marty play again. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, I'm here for it.
Especially as a fellow EU player. Like this team has been my choice from the off, as I've said, and it mainly is because Marty, I think, is the only EU player in the whole competition, and we play together all the time, whether it's against each other or we're on the same team, but we're always stacking, we're always fighting, and we've all kind of over in the EU built a real close-knit community as a kind of offshoot from everything else, because we have to get good games. But this is the thing, it brings out the better competition in us because we're all playing together so frequently. We all know each other's gameplay, and the one thing about Marty is he doesn't have a style that you can pick out. I've watched so many of his games, I've fought so many fights against him, I still cannot figure out how to counter this man.
There is none.
I don't think there is.
Play the game. That's the counter.
I think that's the update we need. It's just a nerf to Mardy. And I've said this on my stream several times, but I think Mardy is the nerf, right? We need that to happen.
Oh man, that's gonna be great. I'm excited to see her doing his thing for sure. And Tempest meta, I mean, it's prime time for a Tempest to show off. And Marty's doing it. And I'm excited. Especially also, I think we've talked about it once already. I'm not sure how much Chicken Burrito wants us to talk about it, but I can't skim over the fact that we have one of our youngest players in the community, period. And he is here at the finals of the loser bracket with a potential chance to go into the grand finals. That that is something to be proud of. Not only an incredible player, an incredible part of this community, incredible part of the SGC staff, coming through and helping us make sure that video was top notch for you all. And Chicken Burrito, just not only a Spellbreak player to look out for, but just somebody to look out for at this age, doing these things. It's impressive, and it's something to talk about for sure.
Yeah, you really hit the nail on the head there, Timmy. The skills that he's developed at such a young age, both in the game and outside of it, with editing and just videography. He's always planning cinematics for his montages and stuff. We constantly have him in the VCs talking about clips that he's got and how he's going to do this to them and that to them, and then he'll post. He posts like what, one a week.
Yeah, YouTube.
And he's not. He doesn't even try to make content as a content creator. He's just doing it for the love of it. And I think I think that he is really onto something special there, because the way that the world is going and the virtuality that we're going to be living in, editing videos, it already is huge for adverts, but it's gonna only get bigger, because you can. It opens doors. Not only can you do, as I say, adverts for mainstream companies and whatnot, you can get involved with big streamers that need editors. You can get involved with just event organization, concerts, SGC. And stuff. But besides that, guys, I think